Runes of Kof-Kol. This massive memory wipe spell is the namesake behind the chaos in Spider-Man: No Way Home. Wong explicitly warned Strange that the spell could shake the very fabric of reality, emphasizing how volatile it is. When Peter Parker kept interrupting the casting, the enchantment was corrupted, ripping open cracks in reality and dragging in villains from other universes. Strange had to trap the damaged magic inside the Machina Decadavus before he could try to fix it. Ironically, despite its reality-collapsing risk, Strange casually mentions using the runes before, not in a life-or-death battle, but at a mystical frat party at Kamar-Taj. It proves this is the kind of nuclear-level magic he keeps in his everyday arsenal. Images of Ikon. The Images of Ikon is Strange's go-to spell for creating magical duplicates of himself to confuse and overwhelm his enemies. Its most notable appearance came during the duel against Thanos on Titan in Avengers: Infinity War, where Strange split into dozens of perfect mirror-like copies to swarm the Mad Titan. Each duplicate attacked at once, forming an elaborate trap that managed to restrain Thanos, if only for a moment, until he shattered the illusion with the Power Stone. Unlike usual duplication tricks, the Images of Ikon doesn't create fakes. They are all genuine copies of Strange, meaning he can literally summon an army in a second when he needs to completely overwhelm an opponent. Crimson Bands of Cyttorak. The Crimson Bands of Cyttorak are easily one of Strange's coolest spells, because they are more than just magic ropes. These restraints come straight from Cyttorak himself, an ancient demon god worshipped for his unstoppable strength in Marvel lore. When Strange casts this spell, he is literally channeling that raw, destructive power into chains that can hold down almost anyone. We first see the spell in Doctor Strange when he attempts to use it against Caecilius in the New York Sanctum. Later, in Infinity War, Strange pulled them out again during the Titan battle, and you can actually see Thanos, even with the stones, struggling against those mystical restraints. Shields of Seraphim. The Shields of Seraphim are Strange's most reliable and frequently used defensive spell, appearing in many of his biggest battles. These shields come from the Seraphim, celestial beings of light and protection that sorcerers can call upon for defense. Strange first used the glowing golden discs against Caecilius's attacks. They showed their true defensive potential in Infinity War, protecting Iron Man, Spider-Man, and himself as the Ebony Maw's ship crashed on Titan. Their most historical moment, however, was in Endgame, when Thanos rained down missiles from his ship. Every sorcerer on the battlefield summoned them at once, creating a massive, layered protective dome that held back a storm of destruction that would have instantly wiped out the Avengers. Bolts of Balthakk. You can't talk about Strange's best attacks without bringing up the bolts of Balthakk. When he faced off against Thanos on Titan, this was the moment Strange stopped playing defense. He unleashed streams of searing orange energy, chaining them through portals to hit the Mad Titan from every angle. The overwhelming power comes from its source. Balthakk is one of the principalities, ancient mystical beings that sorcerers can call upon for strength. Essentially, the power banks of the universe. Strange isn't creating energy from nowhere. He's channeling Balthakk's pure might through his spell work, giving his attack overwhelming destructive force. Winds of Watoomb. The Winds of Watoomb are one of Doctor Strange's most versatile mystical abilities, allowing him to manipulate air currents and create controlled vortexes with immense precision. He typically casts the spell through complex circular hand movements that summon glowing glyphs. Strange used the spell during the attack on Greenwich Village to disperse a violent windstorm generated by an alien spacecraft, protecting the city and stabilizing the area. It proved crucial again during the Battle of Earth. When the lake surrounding the Avengers compound threatened to flood the battlefield, Strange quickly summoned the Winds of Watoomb, manipulating the onrushing water into a massive, spiraling vortex and preventing it from sweeping across the field. Mirror Dimension. This isn't just a simple spell, it's an entire separate world. Sorcerers use the Mirror Dimension to train safely, but it has immense combat practicality. Strange used it to seal the fight with Caecilius away from the real world, and he used it to shield himself from Thanos' Power Stone blast on Titan. In No Way Home, Strange pulled Peter Parker into the Mirror Dimension while taking full control of the warped environment, twisting reality around them. In Multiverse of Madness, Strange trapped Wanda inside, boxing her in with endless reflections and closing glass shards. Wanda, corrupted by the Darkhold, became the first and only person to ever figure out a way out of the mirror dimension by transforming the reflections into liquid portals. And that covers the most devastating and complex name spells in Doctor Strange's kit. Don't think that's all he can do, though, because there are plenty more tools and artifacts we haven't covered yet, but that's a video for another day. Forget the Avengers. The real power in the MCU operates from the shadows. From deep state espionage to time-warping bureaucracies, these are the 10 secret organizations that have been manipulating every hero and villain since Phase 1. Shield's Strategic Homeland Intervention, Enforcement and Logistics Division is the theoretical backbone of Marvel's world of espionage. On the surface, it looks like a government agency dedicated to keeping Earth safe from extraordinary threats. Shield was created after World War II, inspired by the Howling Commandos and the fight against Hydra. With Nick Fury as its most famous director, SHIELD became the organization that tied together superheroes and secret projects, recruiting Tony Stark, tracking Thor's hammer, and assembling the Avengers initiative. Their projects, like Project Insight, proved how close they came to controlling rather than protecting the world. When the truth came out in Captain America, the Winter Soldier, SHIELD, crumbled overnight. Hydra's story is one of persistence, secrecy, and sheer terror. Born in World War II as the Nazi Science Division under Johann Schmidt, the Red Skull, Hydra was obsessed with power. Their motto, "If they cut off one head, two more shall take its place," wasn't just a slogan, it was a strategy. Whenever you thought Hydra was gone, they re-emerged stronger, more dangerous, and more deeply entrenched. By the modern era, Hydra was inside SHIELD itself. Senators, generals, and agents were all compromised. Alexander Pierce, one of Fury's most trusted allies, turned out to be Hydra's ringleader. Even Bucky Barnes, Captain America's best friend, was twisted into the Winter Soldier, a brainwashed assassin. Hydra believed humanity could only survive under total control, coming frighteningly close to achieving it with Project Insight. The Red Room/B Black Widow program. Not all secret organizations need armies or cosmic weapons. Some create their power one person at a time. The Red Room, hidden deep within Soviet intelligence, was less an agency and more a factory for assassins. Girls were stripped of identity, brainwashed, and rebuilt into living weapons under the infamous Black Widow program. Natasha Romanoff is the most famous graduate, but countless other women were victims of the same brutal conditioning. Their training was psychological warfare, designed to erase empathy and loyalty, leaving only obedience. In Black Widow, we finally see its collapse, but the scars remain. The Red Room represents one of Marvel's darkest truths. The most dangerous weapon is not a bomb or a serum, but a person who has been taught to feel nothing. The TVA, Time Variance Authority. The Time Variance Authority, first revealed in Loki, exists outside the flow of normal reality. Their mission, to prune branches of the timeline and maintain what they call the sacred timeline. At first, they appear bureaucratic, an endless office space filled with paperwork and retrotech. But underneath the quirky aesthetic lies authoritarian control over existence itself. The TVA didn't just arrest Loki. They revealed that countless variants, people across infinite realities, had been quietly erased in the name of order. The TVA represents a question bigger than any spy agency. If the TVA can erase entire worlds, who really gets to decide what counts as sacred? AEM, aka Advanced Idea Mechanics. AEM, or Advanced Idea Mechanics, might sound like just another group of scientists, but in Marvel, they're proof that brains can be just as dangerous as brawn. In the MCU, we see a glimpse of them through Aldrich Killian in Iron Man 3, whose extremist project turned soldiers into volatile living weapons. What makes AIM terrifying is their neutrality. They aren't driven by ideology like Hydra. They're driven by curiosity, profit, and ego. The Illuminati, Earth 838 secret councils aren't new in Marvel, but none are as powerful or controversial as the Illuminati. On Earth 838, revealed in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, the Illuminati was a shadow council of the universe's most powerful leaders, including Charles Xavier, Reed Richards, and Captain Carter. Together, they acted as judge, jury, and executioner for their reality. What makes the Illuminati fascinating is their arrogance. They truly believed they knew what was best for the multiverse, even executing their own Doctor Strange after he endangered reality. They kept secrets even from the heroes they supposedly protected. Their downfall was swift when the Scarlet Witch invaded their world, proving that even the most powerful can crumble in seconds. The Illuminati raises one of Marvel's most unsettling questions. What happens when the smartest people in the room decide they're the only ones who should make decisions? It was a final, brutal warning about unchecked power. Val's secret network, the Thunderbolts Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, or simply Val, may not have a flashy army or alien tech yet, but make no mistake, she's building something dangerous. Val slithered onto the scene as a shadowy recruiter, approaching John Walker after he was stripped of the Captain America title and later recruiting Yelena Belova. Val's power isn't in brute force. It's in connections and political manipulation. She's carving out her own covert ops team, often called the Thunderbolts in Marvel lore. Val's network operates in the gray areas, taking on black ops missions and morally ambiguous tasks that governments want to keep off the books. Val's growing influence shows Marvel's shift toward a darker, morally complex era where heroes aren't quite heroes. Val is pulling the strings, and the scariest part is we still don't know her endgame. Level 1. No cosmic sensitivity. At the base of the hierarchy are those who operate purely on human ability. They do not sense, wield, or interact with cosmic energy directly. Their survival in a universe of gods and aliens relies purely on training, weapons, and willpower. The clearest examples are Hawkeye and Black Widow. They stood beside the Avengers during world-ending battles, but their abilities never went beyond human limits. Their value was precision, tactics, and courage. Sam Wilson, pre-Captain America, also fits here. The difference is highlighted in battles like Infinity War, where they sat out because the fight against Thanos was beyond anything human could solve. This level sets the baseline, the 0 point, highlighting the contrast when they face cosmic threats that arrows and gadgets can't solve. Level 2. Minimal cosmic sensitivity. This level finds characters who have merely brushed against cosmic forces without commanding them. They are enhanced by tech, heritage, or exposure, acting as passengers, not drivers. Peter Quill, after Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is a prime example. As the son of Ego, he briefly tapped into celestial energy, but that power vanished. He remains a stronger, more intuitive fighter, but no longer channels a cosmic source directly. Ant-Man, Scott Lang, also belongs here. Everything he does relies on Hank Pym's suit and Pym particles, meaning his actions are tech-dependent, lacking the inherent attunement to the quantum realm that a threat like Kang possesses. Level 3. Latent cosmic sensitivity. This is where raw, internal potential begins to show. Characters at this stage are not yet in control. Their powers emerge sporadically, triggered by emotion, stress, or instinct, leading to unpredictable results. Kamala Khan, Ms. Marvel, is a classic latent case. Upon discovering her powers through the bangle, they erupted in hard light bursts. Her potential is obvious, but her sensitivity is raw and unrefined. Wanda Maximoff in Age of Ultron also fits here, as her early chaos magic was more about emotional lashing out than shaping reality. The most defining case is America Chavez from Multiverse of Madness. Her universe-crossing portals are one of the most powerful abilities in the MCU, yet she only activates them when terrified, often by accident. Level 4. Trained cosmic users. Raw potential has been shaped into consistent, reliable ability. These characters are professionals, using cosmic or mystical forces thanks to discipline, training, and experience. The most obvious example is Doctor Strange. He went from an arrogant surgeon to a disciplined sorcerer, wielding the mirror dimension, the time stone, and complex spells with precision. His sensitivity is trained and sharpened. Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, is another key figure. Her training and liberation from Kree control allowed her to fully channel Tesseract energy into refined cosmic blasts, capable of piercing armadas. The Eternals also exemplify this, having been designed and trained by Celestials for millennia to wield their abilities with exact precision. The defining trait here is consistency. They can summon and direct cosmic energy at will. Level 5. Exceptional specialists. The power ceiling begins to bend here. Characters are not just trained, they are exceptional, pushing their abilities into specialized, transcendent realms through intense focus. Wanda Maximoff, now the Scarlet Witch, is the prime example. Her mastery of chaos magic allowed her to sustain an entire false reality in Westview and tear through multiversal defenses, bending cosmic energy to her will on a terrifying scale. Loki, after Season 2, evolved into the god of stories, wielding enough power to literally weave the multiverse into stability from the center of the timelines. Hela from Thor. Ragnarok also belongs here, a specialist in death and destruction, attuned to Asgard's source of power. The Kang variants also fit this niche, with their absolute mastery of time and advanced technology, weaponizing timelines themselves. Level 6. Legendary Cosmic Masters. These are entities whose very existence reshapes reality. Their sensitivity to cosmic forces is absolute. They are the power. Level 6 is defined by sheer scale, not skill. Arishem the Judge and the Celestials embody this, casually announcing judgment on humanity, birthing stars, and manipulating genetics on a universal scale. To them, even a hero like Captain Marvel is negligible. Dormammu is another clear master, existing outside time and consuming entire dimensions, only defeated by Doctor Strange, trapping him in an infinite loop. Ego, the living planet, also belongs here, a world sustained by cosmic energy at its core. Odin, in his prime, defined Asgardian power for eons, conquering realms and ruling the 9 realms with unmatched authority. This 6-level scale demonstrates the true spectrum of the MCU's power. From the determined human will of Hawkeye to the dimension-consuming might of Dormammu, cosmic sensitivity is the fundamental thread that defines the stakes of the universe. The Masters of the Mystic Arts guard Earth. The Masters of the Mystic Arts guard Earth from mystical and interdimensional dangers. An order founded centuries ago by Agamotto, the first Sorcerer Supreme. Based at Kamar-Taj and their 3 Sanctum Sanctorums in New York, London, and Hong Kong, they protect Earth from entities like Dormammu. After the Ancient One's death and Strange's disappearance, Wong was appointed Sorcerer Supreme. They symbolize Marvel's hidden protectors, sorcerers working behind the scenes to safeguard reality itself. Avengers. The Avengers were formed through Nick Fury's initiative, a plan to bring together Earth's mightiest heroes. Their first on-screen assembly saw Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, Hulk, Black Widow, and Hawkeye unite to stop Loki. The team became Earth's frontline defense, battling Ultron and later facing their greatest test against Thanos in Endgame. Though the Sokovia Accords briefly split them, they reconciled to save the universe. Children of Thanos. The Black Order. The Black Order were Thanos' most loyal and deadly enforcers, making their MCU debut in Avengers: Infinity War. Ebony Maw, Cull Obsidian, Corvus Glaive, and Proxima Midnight descended on Earth to hunt down the Infinity Stones. Each proved terrifying with unique brute force and weapons, but one by one, they fell in combat, with all 4 being killed by the end of the film. Thunderbolts. The Thunderbolts weren't born from heroism. They were built on lies. Valentina Allegra de Fontaine assembled a squad including Yelena, Bucky, Walker, Ghost, Taskmaster, and Red Guardian for covert, compromised missions. They were forced to confront both their own trauma and Val's manipulations. Illuminati Earth 8381. Of Marvel's most shocking teams, the Illuminati were from another universe. The Council of Earth 838 featured Professor X, Reed Richards, Captain Carter, Black Bolt, Maria Rambeau's Captain Marvel, and Baron Mordo. They had already judged and executed their version of Doctor Strange for misusing the Darkhold, seeing themselves as their world's ultimate authority. Their arrogance cost them everything when Wanda Maximoff slaughtered nearly the entire team. They represent the danger of unchecked power and pride. Revengers. Not every Marvel team was legendary or long-lived. In Thor: Ragnarok, Thor jokingly dubbed his new squad the Revengers while trapped on Sakaar. The unlikely group included Thor himself, Hulk, Valkyrie, and reluctantly, Loki. Though short-lived, the Revengers successfully triggered Ragnarok to wipe out Hela and save the surviving Asgardians. Howling Commandos. The Howling Commandos were one of the MCU's earliest teams, born out of World War II. They debuted in Captain America, the first Avenger, led by Cap and joined by Bucky Barnes, Dum Dum Dugan, and others. This specialized unit fought Hydra across Europe, dismantling bases and striking fear into the enemy. Guardians of the Galaxy. The Guardians of the Galaxy were never meant to be heroes. They were outlaws, assassins, and bounty hunters. Star-Lord, Gamora, Drax, Rocket, and Groot reluctantly teamed up to stop Ronan the Accuser, turning survival into a mission to protect the galaxy. Their bond grew stronger across multiple films, gaining and losing family along the way. Fantastic Four. The Fantastic Four arrived in the MCU as legends from the past, on Earth 828. Reed Richards, Sue Storm, Ben Grimm, and Johnny Storm gained their powers in 1960. They faced their greatest test when the Silver Surfer warned Earth of Galactus, the cosmic being who devours worlds. They ultimately devised a plan to lure Galactus into a portal, saving Earth at great personal cost. Starforce was the Kree Empire's elite military unit, first met in Captain Marvel, where Carol Danvers, Vers, served under Jan Rog. They carried out surgical strikes until Carol uncovered her past and realized the Kree were manipulating her. Starforce weren't protected. They were instruments of oppression. Eternals. The Eternals were immortal beings sent to Earth millennia ago by the celestial Arishem. This team of 10, including Ajak, Icarus, and Circe, guided human civilization and defended it from deviants. The Eternals symbolized the struggle between duty and free will. Defenders. Unlike cosmic heroes, the Defenders were a street-level team born in the shadows of New York. Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist reluctantly joined forces in their Netflix crossover series to stop the ancient cult known as the Hand. The Defenders represent Marvel's grounded side, flawed heroes who protect their city.